Lamborghinis and Ferraris are louder. They're more in your face. That's not what McLaren is about. McLaren is about technical perfection. And the 720S is just that. Oh my God! This is the current king of McLaren's Super Series, and Super Series lives in the middle above Sports Series and below Ultimate Series. The Sports Series cars are the entry-level McLarens. Think the 650, the 675 LT, the 600 LT, entry-level. The 12C originally. Hyper Series cars are the P1, now the Senna, and then that future car that's coming out soon that I forget the name of. This lives in the middle, though I have to say it's likely closer to the Ultimate Series than it is to the Sports Series. What we have here is a mid-engined supercar Spaceship. Now, Spaceship is a cheesy term, road-going race car, all of that crap doesn't apply. At its core, this is still just a car, so I don't need to call it a spaceship. I don't need to call it a rocket ship. I don't need to call it a race car for the road. But what this is, besides being a car, is one of the best cars ever made. That's owed to the fact that this fully embraces McLaren's love of carbon fiber. The monocoque is a carbon fiber tub. This is light for as big as a vehicle as it is. It weighs 3,161 pounds, which is 157 pounds lighter than a 911 GT3. Oh, and this one has 710 horsepower. That power is derived from a stroked out 4-liter version of the McLaren V8 with a pair of turbochargers feeding air in for better combustion. You handle the engine through a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, and it sends power not to all 4 wheels, but just to the rear ones. Thankfully, traction control is a lovely thing. The 720S is fitted with McLaren's proactive chassis control too, which is a hydraulic system to keep this thing flat. It works as both stabilizer bar and suspension damper, and as one side gets loaded up, the other one counteracts that, and this thing just stays flat. The steering, though, is incredibly communicative. You can feel all the bumps in the road. You know what those front tires are doing, and it feels like your front feet are connected to them because you're sitting so far forward in this car. Additionally, visibility is great. Very thin A-pillars, actual rear quarter windows. This glass up here just kind of looks cool, and it is cool. And oh yeah, these doors open like billionaire door style. If you happen to roll this thing over, which I don't advise, it'll do this cool thing where the doors will explode, the bolts on them, and then you can get out. We don't need to use that or test that. Hopefully. This car also has something called drift mode. Now, I haven't had a lot of time to play with this because that's just one of those silly things that a car like this comes with. But I'm gonna put everything into track because this has the active powertrain, the active handling system. You hit active, you twist these dials, comfort sport track. This is a dumb idea, but we're gonna see what happens. Pretty controllable. You can definitely tell it's catching you there, because if you just floor it in a vehicle with 710 horsepower and rear wheel drive, you'll loop it. I mean, unless you're used to that vehicle. But this let it step out very comfortably so. Really, we should test that on a track. I'm not just saying that for legal purposes, I'm saying that for my own willingness to push this car harder and further. I wonder if I set it to a more reasonable level. Yeah, there we go. So I've put it about halfway, and let's just push it a little bit and see what happens. I'm not predicting that anything crazy will happen. Regardless, this car is crushingly fast. Now, it doesn't have all the dramatic noise that, like I said, the Italians generate from their wailing V10s and V8s and all of that stuff, but it does have great turbo spool up and whistle, and there is some noise. There is more noise than there used to be on McLarens. And then this one is fitted with the sport exhaust. They're not as shouty as I'd like, but I think McLaren just views that as unnecessary excess. It doesn't need that because their car just needs to focus on being fast. And I can appreciate that, and it is. It is incredibly fast. 0 to 60 is listed as 2.8 seconds. There's launch control. You'll be at 100 in about 5 seconds. You'll be at 124 in about 7-something seconds. The top speed is 212, and the quarter mile, I think it's like 10.2. Something crazy. This car is crazy fast, but not just straight line fast. Left to right, wickedly fast. Good Lord, it just builds up like a surge. Oh my God, it's so fast! You just push harder and harder because you are nowhere near the limits of this ridiculous machine. To prove how focused it can be, there's a track mode for the display in front of you that folds and tucks away and just shows you the information you need, just RPM and gear, and that's basically about it. It might show speed too. I don't like it though. I don't like when the display folds away and you can deactivate it from doing that. It just seems unnecessary. I get it. I get why you would want that on a track, but I'm leaving this up right now, and then I get additional information about my tire pressure, my tire temperature, my fuel, and my current trip, which I'm probably going over the mileage limit that McLaren gave me for this car. But I can't stop now! One area that is a little bit weird when it comes to the car is the brakes. At first, feels like there's nothing, and then you get past that, and there's everything. Those are over 15-inch carbon ceramic rotors up front, and they stop the car well. You just have to know to push past the initial pedal press, and then you're into your seatbelt. It's almost like a race car unboosted braking feeling, which is probably what McLaren are after. I don't think they would just dial up odd brake feel. I think they want to mimic something close to a race car-like experience, and that's what this reminds me of. The shifts are so quick. One of my favorite things about driving McLaren is the carbon fiber one-piece paddle shifter. Because if you say you have a coffee in one hand and you still want to use the paddles, so be it, you can, because you can shift up and down from either side because it's one piece hinged in the middle. And the shifts themselves are so quick. This makes me think back to when I had the 675 LT, which was just truly a monster of a machine. It remains one of the fastest cars I've ever driven. This feels just as fast with just a little bit less drama. This feels far more livable. There's actual usable, the front trunk is very usable. I feel like you could stuff something up here. I'm sure there's some matched luggage set that goes there. This feels like I feel like they took everything they learned from the 675 LT and the P1 above it and then mashed it up and made this a truly daily drivable supercar. It's hard to find a supercar these days that is not daily drivable, which is crazy. This might be one of the best ones of the bunch though. The looks are otherworldly. I can't get over this glass panel up here. It's fantastic. It's super comfortable to drive. You put the suspension into just comfort mode and this cruises along with zero drama. It's wild to have a car this capable that is also capable of just blending in terms of the commute. Not in the styling, but just sitting back, popping some tunes on through the Bowers & Wilkins audio system, and just relaxing on your drive. You can do that in this car, and that is insane. It's not cheap. It shouldn't be cheap, but it's not cheap. This car starts at about $285,000. This one is $342,000, and I'm going to tell you why now. So let's see. The steering wheel paddles, MSO defined, are $2,300. The red calipers are $1,300. That's criminal. The admittedly excellent glacier white paint is nearly $5,000. Fine, paint jobs are expensive. The track telemetry is $2,600. The forged wheels are $3,700. This is almost Porsche nickeling and diming you. I feel like McLaren could probably include some of this. 360-degree park assist, which is necessary, is $3,000. Heated electric memory seats, $3,300. An electric steering column is $1,600. The Stealth Pack, which are the black bits, which does look cool, is $1,400. 720S Performance Pack, which I don't even know what that is $11,000. I should probably look that one up. I will figure that out and filter it in and tell you what that is here. Let's do it now. The audio system, 12 speaker. I don't even know where they're cramming 12 speakers in here, but it's $4,200. The sport exhaust is $5,700, and then the vehicle lift, which should be standard on every McLaren, is $2,500. So you arrive at $342,000. Tons of money, but it feels worth it. This is a truly special experience. If you're playing in this space, you're getting an amazing machine. This is wild. It's simultaneously crazy fast, but also crazy livable on a daily basis. It doesn't make sense that it is such the case. You could probably decimate everyone at your local track day. McLaren themselves say this is faster on a track than a P1, and people have tested and confirmed that. It's just such a beast, wild. You run out of adjectives. I just got a thumbs up from that guy going by. You run out of adjectives for a car like this, which is bad because it's your job to find more of them, but I am not as educated as my colleagues in this industry, and that is evident, and even more so when you drive a vehicle like this. I love it. I'm going to drive it some more, and I'm going to shut up now. Now, to answer the most important question of the day, yes, I did spill coffee on my shirt before I started filming, and what can I do? I just have to look like an idiot. I would look like an idiot anyway, but now I'm an idiot with coffee on a shirt. So be it. I am an idiot in a cool car.